was so good. I was like, that is so hot. I love it. A lot of women struggle.
Get told that by men?
Yeah, yes. I know. Get told that by men. So congratulations on this film. Michael, you're my favorite actor of all time. Just ask Josh Horowitz. He will tell you that Fassbender's my favorite actor, and I loved you in this film. Congratulations to the three of you. Yes.
Thank you so much.
Haywire is one of the first films I ever saw you in, and that was 14 or 15 years ago 15 years ago. So was it just kind of like reuniting with an old friend, working with Steven again here?
Absolutely. Just that, it's one of those things when you don't see a close friend for whatever it might be, a year, even longer, and then you meet and you just fall into step. It was very like what it was, the experience on Haywire. I mean, I was more at the sort of beginning of starting a career. Obviously, Steven was established then, but that sort of freedom that he gives you on set to just sort of bring your interpretation to the camera. Not a lot of notes exchanged. He's very super bright and but very accessible. And then just the fun. You can tell that he loves being on set, making movies. And that permeates throughout the set. You see the respect that all the various departments have for him. And the fact that he's coming into a room, looking around, lighting it, operating the camera, and then editing later that evening. It's kind of nuts. Yeah,
it's nuts. Well, one of the best scenes in the film is the first dinner party scene. And your character, George, says, we're going to provide a resolution for the person to our right. So I want you guys to compliment the person to the right. Regé, I'll start with you.
Marisa, you brought the emotional heart of the entire movie with an incredible dexterity and depth and complexity. And I was incredibly jealous the whole time watching you work.
No! God, thanks. Jealousy's the best emotion. Thank you so much.
I love that. That's so
thanks. That's very kind of you. I feel like I've already done this. I keep fangirling over Michael. As you were saying, obviously we all know that he's a legend and amazing at his job, and I was so excited to work with you, and you were just like, it was just even better than I could have imagined. It was so fun, and you're so brilliant.
Thank you so much.
I love that.
Well, Keith, I thought incredible on set. Thank God you were with me all the time. Nobody saw you, but you were always there with me.
He improvises too, ladies and gentlemen. Try to fish.
That's so funny.
I think, for both of these guys, I mean, it was like one of the first scenes I shot was with Rege. And I was just, it was obvious that he had tapped into this character straight away. And I always just feel like, okay, make sure you're keeping up here. The detail to what he brought to the character, without it being labored in the performance, I could see that he had done his homework and it was sort of seamless. And then Marisa, again, I said it plenty of times on set as well, just... As Regé said, the character Clarissa is so important because she's kind of like the conduit of the audience. She's fresh to this. So she's bringing all the idealism. She's not like cynical like the others at the table. There's no element of being jaded by this profession, but she's sort of like unfiltered. Everyone else is so considerate about what they say. And then she's got like this sort of level of vulnerability underneath. And that's a lot to sort of deliver. And from that first scene at the table, I was like, wow, she's got all of those things. So it's just, again, I'm just always sitting there going, wow, I better keep up. And that's a nice feeling to have.
Yeah, this cast is absolutely incredible. Well, another scene that I love is when George goes to the lake. That's where he kind of puts the pieces together. Where's the place that you guys go to kind of disconnect and get away from it all? Regé, what do you do?
Oh, wow. I just drive out into the countryside, go hang out with some sheep.
Nice.
Wow.
Just walk through fields.
With some Velcro gloves.
Some Velcro gloves.
Told you he's an improviser.
Yes.
No, I just try to get away from it all. I try to find somewhere quiet. I try to find the quietest place where you can see the horizon. I think that's really helpful. It gives you some literal blue sky thinking.
I love that. Marisa, what do you do?
I don't know. I think I the sea is really important to me. I grew up in a place called Brighton in the UK, so I grew up like right on the water, and whenever I'm near the sea, I feel really calm.
What do you do, Michael?
Probably the toilet. I find it's one of those places where I could just sit down and think.
You stop.
But now that I've got a 4-year-old, he keeps interrupting me. I'm like, this is my space.
This is my happy place.
I'm taking a poop.
Dad.
I think probably for me, like working out in the morning. Yeah.
Okay.
And usually I'll do that before work, and that's kind of like a meditative sort of thing for me.
I love that. Well, they are wrapping me. I love the moment in the film when you say, I will do everything in my power to extricate her. And you're like, my God, that's so hot.
You deliver that so well.
It was so good. I was like, that is so hot. I love it. I'm so excited for you and Alicia's film, Hope. I know that you guys, I think that you said you didn't like have any scenes where you filmed together, but I'm excited to see you like in a film together again.
I know, we were so excited that we were going to be doing that, but then with the schedule of this and then the agency, I had to go out early and then she went out. But we're big fans of director Na, so I'm super excited to see what he does with it.
Oh my gosh, me too. Well, my dad and I watched The Agency together too, and we love that as well. You're in like a spy kick right now.
I know, yeah.
Thank you all so much for your time today. I really appreciate it. I'm so excited for audiences to see Black Bag.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Thank you
Nice
so
to
much.
meet you.
Naomie, Cate, and Tom, I loved this movie. Congratulations to the three of you. And Tom and Cate, thank you so much for taking time away from the seagull. I really wish I could see it, honestly. Yes, I've seen all the pictures. I really wish I could see it, but congratulations to you on that and this film. One of the best scenes in this film is the dinner party scene when George asks everyone to the right to give them a resolution. So I'm wondering if we could compliment the person to our right. Tom, I'll begin with you.
Well, I mean, where do I begin?
I know.
That'll do.
What I've said about Cate a lot is she has the skill set and genius to be a kind of soloist, and she's not. She wants to be part of the band, and that's what's so thrilling.
I love that. Cate?
Tom?
Naomie, and then Naomie. Yes.
I think you have such a sense of optimism and darkness in the way that you create your characters, and that you're somehow able to keep alive those two things in your performances.
Thank you. I love
And you're really sexy.
Oh, yeah.
But, that's not, I don't want to objectify you. But I did.
So beautiful. Thank
I
you.
love that.
I love this.
And I guess we can compliment Tom.
Yeah. So, Tom, what I love about you, I've said this many times before, is that you are so entertaining. You are full of amazing stories, and you have an incredible sense of humour. And as a performer, I just think you are so unexpected. What I loved is like, whenever we were doing the scenes, you were always totally different in each take. And it was amazing. Absolutely incredible.
I love that. Well, Cate, your character, Catherine, her boss, played by Pierce Brosnan, he basically tells her that you can't have it all, and like her marriage is kind of, hurting her career. And I feel like a lot of women struggle.
Get told that by men?
Yeah,
Yes.
I know. Get told that by men. So, talk about exploring that with the character, because in that scene with the two of you, I think that's like one of the most important scenes in the film.
Yeah, and I love the way that stuff gets extracted out of Catherine, and she's using that stuff that often is front and center in a movie where a woman is competent.
Yeah.
And what decade are we in? But it's not for Catherine in a way. She's using that information as a defense. But I do think the bit of research that I did, I found very interesting, that female operatives often get under the radar and get the really juicy, nuanced information, because still then that men don't think that women are capable of doing the job that the male espionage agents do. Yeah. So I found that really interesting. There's a lot of damage there. I think there's a damage in all of the characters, which is what makes them delicious. But they don't dwell in it. They sort of, they wear it with pride.
Yeah, all of your characters are obsessed with their jobs, for sure. Yes.
And themselves.
And themselves, yeah. Absolutely. I'll put a little bit of narcissism in there. Well, another scene that I love is when George goes to the lake. That's kind of the place where he goes to decompress and put the pieces together. So, Tom, what is that place for you? Where do you go to kind of disconnect?
Generally, this isn't always the case. I prefer walking in towns than walking in the countryside. I didn't think that would be the case, but there's something I really missed when I moved out to the countryside, and I don't know why that is or what that is, but maybe it's a period of adjustment thing, because sometimes you're walking in the countryside and you're expecting to sort of be hit by some sort of D.H. Lawrencean kind of overload of the senses, and it doesn't happen. But it does happen in the town when you're smelling coffee and everything, you know.
That's interesting.
You get confronted by your own thoughts in the country.
Yeah,
Maybe.
yeah, it's more confronting. Maybe.
What do you do, Kate, to disconnect?
To disconnect.
Yes.
Well, having 4 kids, I mean, who couldn't care less about what I do for a living. They maintain the fact that my synapses never ever connect. But I think relatively recently, what I've started to do is to get, and it's so boring, I won't go into it, but I get into cold water every day because my mind is I'm very restless as a person, and so it's the only thing that stops me for a minute. I can't meditate to save myself, but I get into ice water, and I'm there.
I've heard cold plunging is amazing. Now I need to try it. Naomie, what do you do?
That's so interesting. You do cold plunges, and then I like the warmth.
Yes.
So I do flotation tanks. That's what resets me. I love it, particularly after flying. It's amazing for jet lag.
Did you do it this trip?
No, I didn't. I forgot this time round. Yeah.
Well, Kate, I have to say Carol's one of my favorite films. And yes, and I also love, Ocean's 8. A lot of your fans really love your character Lou and Sandra Bullock's chemistry. Obviously, Steven directed the original Ocean's 8 films, but is there any talk of a sequel for potentially Ocean's 8? Because we would love to see you and Sandy back together.
I know George and Brad are cooking up another Ocean's with the guys. I don't know if Julie is doing it. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, Steven was the reason that I got involved in that Ocean's encounter, and I loved working with Sandy and all of the women. Who knows? You never know.
Yeah, that was my movie that I watched last night.
Yeah. Oh, great.
And I watched Wonder this morning, by the way. Oh, cool. Yes, and I love Skyfall. So they are wrapping me. Thank you so much. I could chat with you about your filmographies all day, but thank you so much for your time today. I really appreciate it, and I cannot wait for audiences to see Black Bag. It was
great.
Absolutely
in the cinema?
Phenomenal. In the cinema. I brought my boyfriend. We loved it. It was amazing.
Great.
Thank you so much.
Thank
I
you.
appreciate you.